Hello, everyone, and welcome back to the Anchor of the Week, where we have hard conversations, hear people's stories, and challenge perspectives. I'm Courtney.
And I'm Zach.
And we are here with a brand new series for you today.
Let's have it.
Yes, we are really excited. I'm super excited, mainly because I'm going to be talking a lot about pop culture-y things in the next couple weeks, which is my bread and butter.
Well, we have a title for this series.
Yes, sorry, I got too excited to tell you that we're talking about pop culture.
Let's go with the title. Okay,
true.
I feel like I have a different title than you have because of the way we say it.
Yeah.
But
Spot the difference.
The way I say this is Upend The Trend. And how do you say it?
Upend The Trends.
Right. So there's a slight difference in how we say it.
He just loves like the
Well,
P.
I think
his plosives.
it's because I'm British. I think that is actually why.
I don't know.
Anyway.
You use that a lot, but that's okay.
That's us, yeah. And I grew up in Turkey, so.
Here it is every time. Yeah. It just has to be slid into the conversation.
Okay, well, what does it mean?
Yes. This series, we are basically talking about trending things, which is great. We love that. Oh, yay, hot topics. But more than that, why are trending things trending? And there are things that are happening in our world that are applying to us that aren't trending, but maybe should be trending. So basically, we have our intro episode today. We'll fill you in on everything, kind of set the stage. But then every week following, we'll be talking about something that is trending and something that is not trending.
Yes.
So something that is trending that we're like, why is that trending? And something that is not, that we think should be trending.
Yep.
And obviously talking about everything that goes into it, unpacking all of it.
Yeah.
It's going to be a good time.
It is.
I'm
and
so excited.
For those geeks out there, those dorks. That's a bad word, but
a little bit. I think that was slightly offensive, but that's okay.
Anyway, people who love their I guess word meanings, whatever, dictionary. Anyway, but what the word upend means, it means to set or turn something on its end or upside down.
Yeah.
So basically, the reason why we want to do something that is not trending is because we feel like what is trending is very polluted and it's influenced and it's basically designed so we can see it. So it's kind of like, are they actually things that should be trending in the sense of like, this is popular, this is what everyone's into, or it's more just, this is what they want you to see. And so we want to also bring to the surface like the things that we think maybe could be more valuable than what is trending, and kind of give you like the little bit of the devil's advocate, if you like.
Shocker, right? Yeah.
Boom, yeah.
At the end of the episode, hopefully you'll be thinking critically, but that's the goal. Every single episode. Yeah. Okay, so let's talk about trends then. Okay, what is a trend?
Yeah. Okay, we got
the dictionary.
Yeah, here we go. For those geeks, no,
prepared.
I shouldn't refer people. But I love stuff like this as well.
Yeah, hey, us. Yeah, me too.
Yeah.
But a trend is a general direction in which something is developing or changing, right? So we have trends. I feel like fashion trends are like the biggest use of the word, but you have every kind of trend.
Yeah.
Something, I don't want to like come off so
controversial
at the beginning, but trending, right? Trends are supposed to be, or like we're supposed to perceive them as being democratic, right? Like the people like it, so it's in. I don't believe that's true.
Okay.
I think trends are decided for us. I think that yes, okay, like there's a certain aspect of what will the people want to see, but I think it's a very idealistic viewpoint to be like, well, you know, it's trending because a lot of people liked it. I'm like, no, but who put it in front of us and said, hey, do you like it? I think you like it.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And with this, okay, I'm reading my notes. It's because I just looked at my notes and I had literally, unironically, put the word hoodwinked in it.
What is that? I actually don't know what that means.
Hoodwink is a trick, right?
Oh, okay.
I don't know. I was doing this late at night. I don't know, probably with a glass of wine one night in bed. Just but decided by people. Like, are they decided by the people or are they decided by other people and then we're hoodwinked to think that we chose them? That's how I decided to say it whenever I made this note. But I think there's a lot of psychology that goes on behind this. A ton of psychology. I don't know if you have any thoughts about that before I continue on.
What I think about a trend, right? Because we do think like in the sense of fashion. I feel like that's my go-to is like, oh, what's trending? I'll wear what's trending. And I know, okay, no. Wait. Hear me out first. Hear me out. Obviously, that's not what I think, but that's like the idea of like a trend. Oh, that's the route I go down. Okay, but thinking about this, Courtney's had a huge influence on what I dress and wear recently, especially recently.
Thanks, yeah.
But like what you pick out, like I'm just trying to think of the conversations we have. It's like, yeah, this is good. Like this is what you should do. Like this is what's seen as like the norm almost. Or like,
Wait, are you going to thank me or throw me under the
well,
bus? Which one is
I'm not sure yet. But let's think about it, right? Because
Yeah.
because I feel like
I have my rebuttal already.
no, I'm sure you do, and this is good. That's why I also knew you would. So, but like, it's also the idea of like, because you were saying like, oh, like trends, they're not actually what people like, but also like, I feel like sometimes they are what people like as well. So it's like this idea of like, when
Yes.
you're giving me things to do, it's like, no, this is what should be here. This is how this works. Like, and my sense of style is a little bit whack sometimes.
Yeah.
So I'll wear like a bobble hat with something that's purple, and my bobble hat's gray and green and red, and it doesn't make any sense, right?
No, for the sake of our friendship, though, I need to clarify something. That is not a trend. That is taste, and that is so different.
Well, no, but like what? But the way it's influenced is with like, oh, like this is like the trendy thing that people are into nowadays. Like,
Yeah, I've never once said that to him, and I would just like that for the record.
okay, well, I feel like it's that. I think there is a similarity. Is that the right word?
Okay.
Yeah. Okay, I would say there is anyway.
Okay,
Maybe you're gonna say something slightly different, but it's still just the idea of like, this is kind of what works, and I feel like obviously trends just play into that whole mindset of like, look, this is like how you're not how you're supposed to do things, but what you should do, or like what you should be reading about, or what you should be looking into.
There's an aspect of should be's, yes. Yeah.
And I feel like that's what trends make you kind of go down the path of like, this is right and this is right. It kind of gives you like the whole basis, like the whole standard of like what's right and wrong almost.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Well, it's a whole like this is in, this is out sort of a thing, which is, I guess.
So you should be going down this path.
Yeah, you don't have to, but it's what everyone's.
Right.
And I think a lot of times we like, I don't succumb to trends. Is that like too big of a.
No, I think we do.
without even thinking about it necessarily. Though all I am trying to do is refine your taste.
No, and it's
into
appreciated.
So you don't have to conform to trends, but you can have a stable sense of style to carry you throughout your life. That is still true to who you are.
Okay, but still, I still stand by like trends will define a bit about like what is right and wrong.
Well, yeah. Well, trends are also how you tell what is happening in a culture at a certain point.
Okay.
Like you look back at history and you find out what was quote unquote trending. Obviously, we say trending now because that's like a newer phrase. Right, that is a social media phrase. What's trending on Twitter? What's trending on TikTok? Right, like, So it has this kind of like newness to it, but there is actually nothing really new about trending. It's what is in, what is popular, what is the status quo. Maybe we could say for the time.
The direction we're going.
The direction.
Yeah.
Or, excuse me, like what are like the things that people are talking about?
Yeah.
You know? But why are we talking about them? To kind of go with back to the fashion, but I promise we're done with this conversation for now on camera.
Yep. Good luck.
But basically, so there's something called like trend forecasting, right? Fashion forecasting, which, well, it's not just fashion, but it's mainly in fashion, right? But you can do it for products. It's basically consumer research where it's like, what will people want? Anticipating what people are going to want so we can provide it for them when they want it.
Yeah.
Sort of thing. So there is this aspect that it is democratic, like, okay, what will people need, in 10 years from now, or not, it's not usually 10 years. Well, sometimes it is, but like,
Sure.
I'm designing a product and I want it to come out next year. You have to anticipate the needs of the people next year.
Yeah.
So it's relevant, right?
Right.
But what that kind of does then is then you're not just listening to the consumer, because by the time that it comes out, you're telling them what they want, hoping that it fills that need. It's a very interesting thing.
So you think they like line it up with, it's almost like you have to predict where someone's going. So either it's...
These are people's jobs.
Right.
And like, I was looking it up and, sorry, I cut you off. But,
No,
okay. But like there are websites that you could like pay to subscribe to, and a lot of people in like fashion or different like development and design industry subscribe to.
Yeah.
And there's one that's literally called the Worth Global Style Network. And they have trend analytics for 2023 to 2031.
Blimey.
That is, yeah. And I obviously am not going to pay to become a member of this. Probably you have to have some sort of like pedigree as well, which I don't have. So I was just looking at the free version of the website. But to think that people are already analyzing what we will want in 2031, right?
Yeah.
That just shows me like, okay, yes, maybe it is based off consumer needs or like the direction that we're going. But at this point, I'm not even thinking that. But by the time we get to 2031, someone's already thought of what I'm going to wear, what kind of tech I'm going to use, all of this.
Right,
so how much of a say do we actually have in trends?
So it must be shaped by influence as well. It can't just be like knowing what I'm going to want, but it's more like, okay, we're going to take you down this direction so you get to the point where we want you to get to.
Exactly. Like it's fascinating, right?
Interesting, yeah.
So even at that, like I feel like we could get a little bit more conspiracy-ish, which we definitely will, don't you worry. Or a bit more subjective, maybe.
Yeah.
Right? But this is right there. Like this is people in the industries deciding what we're gonna want later on. And then we just, I do want that, you know?
Mm-hmm.
But we aren't aware of the fact that it was already decided for us way in advance.
Yeah.
And I think we need to be, what is a conscious consumer? Right? We think about people like that, you know, talk about waste and that kind of stuff. But being a conscious consumer is also understanding that, wait, am I consuming this because I actually want it or because I was told to want it?
Mm-hmm.
So, and that's everything. And again, for this, we're going to be talking a lot more like in this series about trending topics.
Yeah.
So not like products necessarily, but it's just all, I think, very similar vein.
Yeah. Because, I mean, slightly different direction, but because right now we're talking about fashion and that whole scene. But also then, even if you think about like the things that are prioritized, that's pushed out to us is decided by other people, right? So everything that I see is decided by someone else's like idea of what I need to see, almost. So I know we had a series on this a little bit before, and we're kind of touching on that. But it's like even when it comes to like world disasters and you take it on a bigger scale, you think of like all the I don't know, stuff in Ukraine, which we should be seeing. That's fair. Like. But I know there's very similar wars or things that are going on in like the Middle East that I never hear about day to day, or it's nowhere near as big of a deal or as publicized. But it's like, why are those things not mentioned? Mm-hmm. But this is a huge deal today. It's like, so it's like there's so many things that are going on that we should be looking at, but we're not. And why is that? And it's because I guess the priorities of whoever is different to what maybe I think they should be. Yeah.
It like makes me think of when we were in Norway and we just stumbled upon that protest about the Ethiopian genocide.
That was nuts.
We were like, what is this? Like, why have we like never heard about like this is huge conflict going on right now in a country that we should be caring about? But it's true, right? Like who is deciding like what we should be caring about? Yeah. I think that's a big thing.
The big question.
The big thing.
Yeah.
But, yeah. So basically, are we here to say that things are put in the spotlight for a purpose?
Yeah, it's true. Yeah. And I think also, because, I mean, I think it's very easy to shift the blame onto kind of people pushing the stuff out. But also as us as consumers, also, as we always say, you got to look at ourselves and our own actions and take responsibility for that as well. Mm-hmm. And I think the example that we kind of like thought about was the Johnny Depp and Amber Heard. Right?
Yeah.
So that was a huge story that came out. I don't know if people are aware of this. You probably can explain it much better than I can. But basically, two super famous... Is she an actor? Actress?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah. Two super famous actors. I know, I should know that. But I know Johnny Depp.
Hey, that's a step for you. And I'm really proud for you.
It is huge.
Yeah.
But for like their whole court case just blew up in the news. And truth revealed, everything like this. And but then at the same time, there was the legislation bill happening, right?
Yeah.
And so it was like, I mean, I can comfortably and like whatever admit that I was so much more interested in this court case and what's going on there. And I'm just reading up about that. And while this bill's going on, I have no interest or thought into that.
And he's talking about the Roe v. Wade, by the way, which happened in the States in the Supreme Court.
Yeah.
But it's true.
Yeah.
It's completely true. And like, I did not think about this until Billie Eilish released a song, TV. If you haven't listened to it, it's very sad. You can cry to it. Like I cry to it sometimes. But basically there's a line in it. I just had to say that.
Vulnerability, I guess.
I guess, question mark. I don't think that was vulnerability. But basically there's a line in the song that says, the internet's gone wild watching movie stars on trial while they're overturning Roe v. Wade. And I was like, oh yeah, like, I didn't even think about that. Like it was, you could not escape like Johnny Depp and Amber Heard and their defamation lawsuits against each other and the whole thing. Yeah. And you would hear about Roe v. Wade, which was all about abortion laws in the States. And basically they were reversing those. And however you stand on that issue, the fact of the matter is we cared way more about these movie stars watching their court case go on and picking it apart and making memes out of it and all of that, when something that actually affects an entire nation. Obviously, this is all happening in America. Like, it affects an entire nation and affects people. Like, it would directly affect me if I lived in that, no matter where I stood on this but we didn't care about that as much. Or we maybe would care every once in a while, maybe like, reshare a post or say what we believe, but the internet in and of itself, what were we talking about more?
Yeah, right.
Johnny Depp and Amber Heard. Right?
Yeah.
So it's one of those things where it's like, okay, but is that just because we don't want to actually care about the things that we should care about? Like what's in that line?
Yeah.
Because if they were both presented to us equally, I'm not saying they were, I have no idea if they were, but let's just say, and we made one of them trend.
Yeah.
Is it because that's what we want to consume? Like where is our responsibility in it?
Yeah. Because honestly, like I was saying, like if I see the story run, I'm gonna read that honestly rather than this bill. Like that's the truth, and I think that's down to a few things, like what you were mentioning, or like asking. And I think like when it comes to like the bill or like these like I don't want to say political things, but things that maybe take a little bit more like
that maybe you don't understand at first as well.
Right.
I think that might be
you have to look into it a bit more, and that it takes a bit more from you, right?
Because they're not entertainment.
Yeah.
Is that it?
I guess that is the ultimate thing. Yeah. I have to make a conscious decision to like actually choose to look into stuff like this, rather when the Johnny Depp's just like, oh, sick, like what's going on? Like, let me find out.
Yeah.
Like that's so much easier for me. But with this, I have to like, it's almost like first instinct, I don't want to look at it. Second instinct, I'm like, oh no, this is important. I need to look at it. So it's like that second reaction makes me want to, look into it.
How much of it do you think is like, we don't look at the things that make us uncomfortable, right? Because this does not make us comfortable. Why? Because it's conflict. Why? Because maybe I don't like the outcome. Maybe I do like the outcome. Maybe,
Yeah.
But other things that we choose to put our attention on, that we choose to be trending, maybe if we can choose them to be trending, is it because they numb us, right?
Right.
Because they actually don't like affect me. I can distance myself from it.
Yeah. Well,
I don't know.
Yeah, I think also one of the things, like for me at least, I can speak in my own case. I mean, before this, I guess you could say, like politics and stuff like that was just something that I kind of stayed away from, not purposefully, but it was almost like I didn't have hope for like.
So why bother?
Yeah, right. So I think that was my mindset. So it's kind of like, why invest any time into this if I just don't see like the end goal almost, And I think that I can guarantee that must be in people's minds when they think about something like important like this. It's like, I can't directly affect this. Like, even though I don't agree with that mindset, like I can't directly impact this. And so why look into it? Why invest into it? Why try and think about it or, educate myself on what's going on? Because there's nothing I can do about it.
Right.
Like that whole mindset,
It's very apathetic.
It is apathetic. It is numbing. Yeah. Like you were saying.
Yeah.
But I guarantee that's what people go, like, that's what goes on in people's minds.
Yeah. Okay, can I take us down another rabbit hole?
Come on then, yeah. I think I know where you're going to take us down.
Yeah, we're going to talk about the Kardashians for a little bit, everybody.
Classic. But yeah, it's good, yeah.
But with this, I'm sorry, I am so excited. I'm just bumping the mic every 5 seconds here. But this is a perfect example of how, like, what is trending and, like, in the media, for example, like, how it's manipulated for us to care about certain things more than other things, okay? I was listening to a podcast. This podcast came out, it was January 2022. So I literally listened to this over a year ago. Okay.
Yep.
Going to my notes. But basically, it's from a podcast called Culture Vulture. And the episode is Keeping Up with the Kardashians PR Machine. So if you want to check it out, they do a great job of explaining all of this. I'm just going to give us the notes that I made. Okay. But basically, okay, you're going to bear with me. I'm going to mention a lot of names that you don't know probably.
Yeah, that's fine.
Okay?
Keep going. Yep.
It'll be okay.
Don't worry.
So Travis Scott, right? He's
Oh,
rapper.
I know. I think I know Travis Scott.
Nice,
Wait,
okay.
do I? Yeah. Oh, yeah, I do. Yeah, I do. Okay, keep going. Sorry. So irrelevant. Yeah.
Okay.
I do know him.
He's baby daddy to Kylie Jenner.
Yes.
Okay. Who's one of the Kardashian half sisters.
Yes.
Right? But
yes.
in that family.
Yes.
Okay. Travis Scott, the big Astroworld disaster, right? When I think it was 10 people died at the concert in November 2021. Okay. So we're going back.
Yep.
And essentially on this podcast, what they did, so the Astroworld, November 2021. 3 months later, January 2022 is when this podcast was filmed. Okay. And they basically went over how so much has happened in between those two things, the podcast and Astroworld, that people have stopped talking about the 10 people dying and are like the Kardashians are now engrossed in a bunch of other like, what am I want to say traumas, but that is not the word I'm looking for. What word am I looking for? Controversies, maybe? Sure. I don't know. To cover up. There is a quote in here as well that the girls on the podcast said. They said that the Kardashians are willing to put themselves in other compromising situations in the media that aren't quite as bad to shift the spotlight, not changing their image, but distracting people from it because the news cycle moves fast and people will forget. So the idea of the manipulation of what we see and controlling what we see and controlling what we care about, right? And I'm just going to go really quick. I have a whole list.
No, go for it. Yeah.
You know, so in this time, we had the Kim and Pete Davidson stuff and the Kanye, all the stuff was happening on social media when he was saying all these things about Kim and her mothering and if it's good, bad, whatever. It was, you know, he was dragging her, really is what I was trying to make that nice, but no, he drug her.
No, yeah.
But like all of that was happening. So we were all talking about that. Then we had all these like really like badly photoshopped photos of like the kids and like one picture, like one of the Kardashians put the other sister's daughter's face on her kid. Who knows why, but it was like all like done like really poorly, like so people would notice it, you know what I mean? So all of a sudden now we're talking about why did they Photoshop this photo? Like all these things, like, you know, but really why aren't we talking about the people that died last month? You know what I mean? Or like what's gonna happen, you know, all these things. Chloe had a resurfaced clip of a racial slur from like the Keeping Up with the Kardashians like years ago came out. Another example of like, okay, it's bad, but it's not as bad as people dying.
Yeah.
You know? Like, so now we're talking about that. And the whole conversation about, well, do they appropriate Black culture? And like that whole thing, which is again, not good publicity, but it's better. Yeah. You know, so now we're all talking about this again. Yeah. And it's, Kylie had her second baby all came out like with Travis, but they didn't say anything. So then the whole like internet was starting to like scrutinize every photo of Kylie. Like, you know what I mean? It became this obsessive thing. Talking about like reversing of like their Brazilian butt lifts as well. Like bodies changing, like so much was happening. Guys, I'm not even done this list. Okay. My thing, fascinating. So then Kylie and Travis had a leaked magazine spread that like never like went out to press, I guess, but it was leaked and it was about how they are not like together anymore, but they're still like co-parents. And so there are two theories on this, right? The one is that like, they didn't want it to be like sent to press because they really want to protect his like family man image right now, you know, to show that like he's okay. And then the other thing was like, well, then why did it leak? Maybe it's to like distance himself from the family. Like they leaked it on purpose to show that, hey, like actually we're backing away from that, you know?
Yeah.
But like, this is crazy.
Just distractions, isn't it?
All these distractions.
Yeah.
Right? And they also had a new show coming out that hadn't even come out yet. Like, Kris Jenner released a Jingle Bell song, which the internet laughed at for a hot second. You know what I mean? Like, but all of this happened, right? And it's not just like, oh, it happened. Like, no, like this then took over the internet for a couple days each time, at least, you know what I mean? Or like the Kim, Pete, Kanye stuff we were talking about for forever. And I was like, oh my gosh, you know, like, but it's this whole thing of like, how can we manipulate what people see so that they don't see what we don't want them to see? Yeah. And yes, this is a kind of more surface. Well, it's not surface because there's
deep stuff going on.
There's deep stuff, you know, but you're like, okay, but we're talking about the Kardashians. But it's that whole idea of how easy it is for us to just consume what we're given without realizing like who decided that I wanted to like talk about this. Yeah. You know, I didn't wake up one day and be like, you know what, I'm going to go through all of the Kardashians photos, see if they've photoshopped any of them, and then let's figure out why. No, but they're like placed there for us to see. And that's my end rant.
It is very interesting. Yeah.
It's so interesting to me. Yeah. Like, and then I, listen to this and I go, yeah, everything I see has been manipulated for me somehow to get me to think a certain way. Yeah.
So what is right?
Yeah.
And what's wrong almost? Honestly, like you get on that spiral. Yeah. Okay, so this is a slight sidetrack, but it kind of has to do with this. So like when I think of Travis Scott or the Kardashians or whatever, like these popular people's lives, so I cannot relate to the idea of being super invested in their lives. Yeah. Okay. Like I mean, okay, maybe I can think of like some footballers and I'm like, oh, that would maybe interest me, but not to this level. And there's a huge number of us who love to see the gossip of what is going on with famous people and stuff like that. Yeah. And it's almost like, it's so weird how, because I don't think that's completely to do with, like, the people who are producing the content know that
we want it.
We want it and we love it.
Yeah.
But it's like, why do we love that? It's so weird to me. I think that's just what I can't get my head around. When I think of, when you're telling me all this, I'm like
why do people care?
Yeah, why is this such a big thing for them? And I mean, okay, am I throwing you under the bus here? When just with the whole idea.
Hey, it's fine.
Did you used to be like really invested in stuff like this? Is that? Guys,
no.
I want you to know that I'm trying very hard to word this well, and
he's walking on eggshells as we speak.
Very, very careful here. But like, just in that,
I was very much into pop culture. Yes.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
So
I wasn't like, for the record, Kardashians themselves, I'm kind of neither here nor there with them. Like, I'm like, are you adding to our society? Not really.
Right.
Do I hate you with a burning passion? No. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But yeah.
Talk me through that, if you don't mind. Like, just the whole like, would you be like, I don't know.
Every night after dinner, growing up, I would turn on my TV at 7:30 and watch Access Hollywood, which was 30 minutes, or Entertainment Tonight. Yeah. Or The Insider.
Right.
So many. And they were just like 30-minute, this is what's going on with celebrities today. And it was like big shows. And they'd be the ones also on the red carpets. Like, they were also respected.
Yeah. Okay.
It wasn't like complete trash.
No, yeah.
But no, I just grew up in one of family. Like, my mom was like this too. Like, my parents love to stay up to date on things.
Yeah.
Always kind of in the know. But it was just one of those things where I loved it. I love knowing what was happening, and growing up in North America as well. Like, you're just surrounded by Hollywood, right?
Yeah.
Like, that's the thing.
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
And I don't know. Like, I wouldn't say that I was like obsessed with like the gossip of it.
Yeah.
But it was kind of like, I want to know what's happening.
Right.
Like, if this is what we're all talking about, I'm going to be able to have a conversation about it. Oh. Hey, was that a good point?
Whoa, hey up. So essentially it's FOMO. Which stands for fear of missing out, if you do not know.
Let's keep everyone on the same page. Yeah. Honestly, yeah.
Yeah.
So, I mean, is that, okay, whoa, like, this might, I feel like someone's going to listen to this and be like, well, duh, that's what a trend is. You hop onto it because...
To be part of it.
Okay. Yeah. But like, because I can see that when it comes to things like fashion, you know, like, oh, everyone's wearing this. Oh, I want to be trendy too. You know, I'm going to jump on. But when it comes to things like things that are in our news cycle, which is kind of more of the route that we're going to be like, going down this series. Like, I don't think about that, you know, like, oh, like I'm choosing not to wear those shoes, even though they're trendy, but I'm not actively choosing what I'm going to think about, what I'm not going to think about.
Yeah.
But I don't want to be left out, you know, like I want to know what's happening.
Yeah. It's like sense of belonging a little bit and needing to be like, I guess, part of what's going on. Yeah. Wow. Yeah. Interesting.
So thank you, Kardashians, for giving us a sense of belonging. But
yeah.
Interesting, eh?
Yeah. I guess we struggle to not know almost. Like, what does it mean if I'm not aware of these things, right? Then people around me are talking about it and I'm not part of that conversation, I guess. So that means like, I think we just struggle with the idea of like, if you got slightly different priorities in your life.
Yeah.
Like that, I guess that's weird for people. Maybe.
Well, I think as well, like, again, not to like be hung up on like the fashion comparison, but it takes an active choice for me to be like, I'm going to buy that outfit or I'm not going to buy that outfit. Mm-hmm. But if like I'm around a room of people talking about something, I'm going to start to think about that. Yeah. Like, I feel like there's not that active choice.
Right.
Like,
it's subconscious.
It's like osmosis.
Oh, okay. Hello.
Except not osmosis because we're humans. But yeah, it's like a subconscious thing. And all of a sudden, I think maybe you've jumped into the trend. Like, I don't think, like, we're walking around being like, I don't want to miss out, so tell me everything that you know. Like, you know, but it's just, like, it's so sneaky. Yeah. And then we're caring about things.
Oh, man.
That we never meant to care about.
Yeah.
And then we don't have space or time to care about the things. Or because everything is spoon-fed to us, then we don't feel the need to go and look for other things. Because honestly, guys, as we're preparing this series, you know, the weeks to come, it is so hard for us to find things that aren't trending, but we feel like should be trending.
That's going to be our challenge, isn't it?
Yeah, because we're just, I don't know, just always shown what to care about. Yeah. So if I'm being fed things that I should care about, or someone tells me I should care about, well, then I'm still caring about something. So I'm not feeling the need to go look for something I don't care about yet. Right. Does that make sense?
Yeah, it does. Yeah.
Okay, cool.
It's the habit you've created.
Wow. Hey, we're going to link the New Year's episode.
Man,
Zach and his
It's
habits.
so interesting, yeah.
Yeah.
Because you're like the TV gig that you were doing, like with the news and stuff. That was that an everyday thing or was that a in the week thing?
Oh, you're talking about, okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
I was like, when was I on
Sorry.
the news?
Sorry. Like,
Do I have a job at
you know, when you'd watch like what's happening.
Yeah, every day. Yeah, every day at 7:30.
Yeah. It's
Right
like
before prime
it's like
time.
clockwork.
Yeah, it's like watching the news, but it's about celebrities.
Yeah.
Or pop culture.
But if that's what I'm consistently feeding myself with, you know, like you've just been saying, then obviously like
Yeah.
that's what I'm gonna think or want or
Yeah.
everything.
And do I think it's bad? No, I'm not gonna be out here bashing everyone that cares about pop culture because I don't think so. I'd love to know what's going on in the
Yeah,
world,
sure.
you know? But where's our line?
Yeah.
What are we just consuming for the sake of consuming?
Yeah. And as we wrap up, I think that's basically what we
Yeah.
are kind of wanting
Yeah.
to go down a little bit, you know, because with the things that are not trending and stuff like that, like as we look into those things, it's like it's almost they're gonna be based off of things that like we think we should value more
I think so.
and be consumed with more, like the things that actually matter
Yeah.
in this world, you
Yeah.
know. So we want to try and go down that route a little bit more. Yeah, but I don't know if you guys have thoughts on this, and please
Yeah.
fire away, or if there's ways to find what's not trending. I
Yeah,
guess.
if there's something that, you want to talk about or want us to obviously to talk about with you,
yeah.
let us know. Maybe there's something that you're like, why aren't people talking about this? Let us know and we can talk about it.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm excited. I feel like this is a great episode to like position us. And I'm ready.
Oh, hello. Yeah.
We're off. We're going. But yeah, as I said at the very beginning of the episode, this is gonna be my bread and butter series.
Yeah.
I'm ready for
Yeah.
this.
It's gonna be good. Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, guys, thank you guys for joining.
Yeah.
We're excited for the series. Hope you guys are too. So stay tuned for that.
See you next week. Thank you so much for joining us at the Anchor of the Week, where we have hard conversations, hear people's stories, and challenge perspectives.
Remember, you can stay connected by following us on Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok, as well as subscribing to our YouTube channel.
Hope these conversations are inspiring you to have hard convos